Hi, everybody. I saw that George was saying something. Oh, I forgot to put my glasses on. Hello, everybody. How are you today? Happy, what is it? Thursday, I think. Oh, my goodness. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Witch's Key. 3 episodes left after today, only 2 episodes remaining, including our live finale on Saturday. So this is going to be super exciting. So we have been trying to figure out what we're going to do for this live finale. It's going to be at least an hour, I would say, out of your schedule. Kind of block that off. It will be a longer episode. I'm not sure how long yet, but it will be longer than normal. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Tiger Lily Karen. Hey, everybody. Pamela is working on some cupcake flavors. So what she's going to do for us is give us some recipes as well as some pictures to follow all the instructions. One of them will be just a simple recipe like chocolate or vanilla, and the other one will be from the book. So she said maybe like lemon meringue, which is what was Martin's favorite. Chocolate peanut butter pretzel is another one that we're probably going to have. So thank you to Pamela, who is a pastry chef, who has some time on her hand, who has dedicated herself to making some awesome cupcakes for us. So hopefully by tomorrow we will have that. And, if we continue on with season 2 and season 3 and so on, who knows where this could go, we will have a little bit more time to know what's working, what's not working, what do we want to try next time. Also, as George just said, we are going to have kind of a fun little challenge, which you may want to join into or not. I thought it would be kind of funny. It was a moment of inspiration that George had earlier. So we'll see how it goes. I have my Starbucks bunny. Awesome. Yeah. So we are going to also do not only cupcakes, but also your favorite drink. So imagine you were going into Sabine. What would you order? Coffee, tea, something different. Imagine you're kind of at a Starbucks. You can actually go to Starbucks. Like Christabel said, she's ready to go and actually pick up Starbucks for a treat. I might hop out and go get Starbucks too. A lot of the Starbucks obviously are closed if you even have one near you, but they do have drive-through. So that might be a fun little treat, but you can also just make coffee at your house or lemonade or, whatever it is that you would offer. Jamila, coffee with a side of coffee, and it's morning for you. So it's like perfect time for coffee. So that's some of the stuff we're going to do. Also, we're going to see if we can dress Evie up a little bit. And I am also going to try to kind of change up the background a little bit. We're going to get a little bit creative, hopefully, with making things a little bit witchier for the finale. So we'll see what we come up with limited time. So, oh no, Starbucks had a crazy huge line for the drive-through. Yeah. I bet that is absolutely true. Starbucks within walking distance. That's nice. Yeah. So plan ahead if you want a Starbucks. Oh, Kerrigan, that's a good idea. Grabbing a smoothie too. You could just make one at home if that works for you. Also, since I know we talked about potentially doing a Zoom chat so that we could actually see everybody, which would be amazing. But the problem is that my Zoom room that I pay for, it limits me to 100 people. So if you include me and George, that would only be 98 people. And you can see right now, we already have 92 watching. And I feel like some days we've gotten up to 140 something people. And the finale might be the biggest one yet with everybody wanting to come. I don't know. So I don't want to exclude anyone. So we talked about the possibility of sometime in the future doing a, maybe an exclusive event where we do some giveaways. And if you're a winner of the giveaway, then you get to join us for a bonus event. But for now, yesterday was 125. So it's I don't want to be oh, it's only the first 100 and everybody else misses out. So yes, Rana, sorry, we can do Facebook and Instagram. So what we're going to do is we will post some threads in. I'm going to make up some fun graphics and I'm going to post some different things. So I'll have inside the Coven on Facebook as well as on my page. So if you're not in the Coven, you can do it on the page. If you're not on Facebook, you can do it on Instagram. And I'll put all those links down below for you guys tomorrow and again on Saturday so that you can join us with pictures. So I'll have one post that's for like your cupcakes or other goodies. I'll have one post that's for your chosen drink, one post if you decided to dress witchy, and then one post obviously for the challenge. And you can, on Facebook, you can put your pictures in the comments. If you want to join us on Instagram, then you can use a hashtag and we'll see if we can come up with something. I was thinking maybe just hashtag TWK for the Witch's Key finale. So hashtag TWK finale. Does that sound good? We could also just say TWK party. That could work too, and come up with something. So yes, 4 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. So the same time as right now, just on Saturday. Kelly asked, what's the next upgrade for Zoom? When I went to look at it, because I also do Zoom for my courses and often have more than 100 people signed up, they just said you have to call in to get pricing. And when I talked to another business person, you have to actually sign up for like a business, like a corporate account, and it's like thousands of dollars. So I don't think it's the best choice. So I will be looking into alternatives for that, but I think it'll work fine. If you're not in the coven, we would love to have you there. So come join us. The link to join is down below, or you can just search Facebook. It's just Sarah Cannon's Coven. So come join us there. And that'll be a good place to put your pictures and everything else. Or if you're not on Facebook, then definitely go and you can hashtag or tag me on yeah, some of the Zooms were hacked. So gosh, I've got this eyelash that's like sticking to itself. Some Zooms were hacked. So that made the security a little bit harder. So it's just been kind of a mess. Google Meet might work, but I don't know how. I don't know. I think just for 2 days from now, I don't have time or bandwidth to try to plan anything different. So for this round, we're just going to do it this way. But I welcome your ideas for other things like Google Meet. Maybe we can look into that for maybe the finale of season 2. So if you missed the announcement, there will be a season 2. There's going to be a little bit of a break between. So I'm not sure how long that break will be. I'll have to let you guys know. It's going to depend on my husband and I kind of having some talks about how much time I'm going to be able to dedicate to it. So I will still be going live next week, but only Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'm not sure exactly what we'll do, but I'll be here and hopefully you will be here too. We might read Loxley, is what I'm thinking. So maybe another Q&A too, if you guys are interested in that. But Carol was right there behind me. Yes, I think Loxley is the one I'm thinking about. So yes. Plus, if there's a story on the finale, everyone watching late would miss it on YouTube. Yeah. So I think that right now it's a really good idea to just play it by ear, stay flexible. Just as a happy little crazy note, this is so funny, y'all. And this is the way all of my writing tends to go. So it just makes me laugh. George was making fun of me. When I first made the announcement that I was going to do this, I said 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks of going live every day. And when I was in my planner planning it out, I was like 2 weeks. So that'll be 6 days each week, 12 days total. I'll read about 2,000 words a day, and I'll make this a short story, and it'll be about 24,000 words. Well, today we are crossing the 64,000 word mark, and we're on our 4th week of reading. So every story I write just tends to grow, and I really feel like the ending has grown bigger than I expected. So when I do rewrites, this book will probably end up being about 80,000 words. So full book, and more seasons. So here's what happens. You guys have inspired me, so I appreciate that more than you know. All right, so we are 7 minutes after, and we are going to dive right into episode 19. And today you are going to get some answers, but I will warn you that you're going to probably want to kill me at the end of this one. But hang on to your hats. Are you ready? Okay. This is episode 19. May my magic be quick and strong. Despite my exhaustion, I tossed and turned all night. Images of those demons pouring in through the Petersons' window kept terrorizing me. and I wondered how much worse it might be when we found Algreth. How many demons would he have with him? What kind of traps would we face tonight, if we could find him at all? It was just before dawn when I finally gave up on sleep and crawled down to the kitchen to make coffee. To my surprise, everyone else was already up and eating breakfast. My long brown hair was like a bird nest from all the tangles, and I hadn't bothered to brush it or pull it back this morning. I thought I would find the kitchen empty. Oh well, I shrugged and just rolled with it. These people were family anyway, right? But then I caught sight of Kai standing in one corner talking to Darius. Oh my God. I quickly ran a few fingers through my hair, wincing as I tried to pull a few tangles apart. This was not going to work. I'll be right back, I whispered, hoping no one had really noticed me yet. Gianna grabbed my arm, though, and tugged me toward her. Oh, no, you don't, she said. I was just about to come get you anyway. We need to get out to the training grounds pretty soon. How did you sleep? I shook my head and pointed to my hair. I can't be here like this, I said. I didn't think anyone would be up. You're fine, she said. No one cares what you look like. I gave her a pointed look and moved my eyes toward Kai. Cute angel witch guy in the corner, I said very softly. I care what I look like right now. She turned and I squeezed her arm. Don't look, come on, I said, hiding behind her. Gianna laughed. Here, I'll help. She took my shoulders in her hands to straighten my body in front of her. Then she took strands of my hair on either side of my head into her fingertips. Belus. My tangled hair fell across my shoulders and down my back in waves as it completely untangled itself. Whoa, what just happened? I turned to stare at my reflection in the stainless steel refrigerator, and I gasped. My hair was the most beautiful I'd ever seen it, thick and falling just right with a little bit of body and wave to it that I could have never achieved on my own. Simple, Gianna said, tossing her own beautiful red hair back. You still have to wash it, of course, but that should save you some time getting ready in the mornings. Thanks. It didn't exactly help the fact that I was still in my PJs, but at least I hadn't been wearing anything too embarrassing, just a pair of old sweats and a tank top. She'd helped just in time, too, because Kai and Darius must have finished their conversation and had joined Asher and Gowan at the table. Everyone turned to a discussion of how the day would go. There were potions and remedies to be made, reagents to pack up and take with us just in case. We still needed to have a training session for the morning, and Martin said he planned to see what he could do to speed up that location spell. I may not be able to determine Algrath's exact location before tonight, but I may be able to get an idea of the general area of his hiding place, Martin said. I suddenly remembered the conversation with Olive the night before. Julie Peterson has a cabin, I said. Olive didn't say where exactly, but maybe out near the lake. Asher nodded. I can find that pretty easily with a record search, I think. We might as well check it out. I have a few more questions for our friend Bates this morning, too, Darius said, a slight smile on his lips. We'll see how he liked being in the basement with the... Martin cleared his throat, and Darius stopped abruptly, rethinking his words. I mean, we'll see if he has any more information for us. Wait, there's a basement in this house? I asked, turning to my great uncle. What's down there? He gave Darius a look, and Darius raised his hands in apology. We will discuss that another time, Martin said. For now, it's none of your concern. A man of many secrets. That's what the Slayers had called him. This week, I was learning just how true that was. Okay, so we'll do what we can to locate the missing girls and figure out who Algrath is before nightfall. But if all else fails, we wait for that tracking spell to tell us exactly where he is, Gowan said. We just need to be ready to go as soon as it comes through. There won't be a second to waste. Nerves buzzed through me. We were cutting it close. I felt stupid for even wasting a minute caring about my hair. The morning conversation really put things into perspective for me, and I was ready to get back out to the training grounds. By the time the sun started to rise, we were back in the clearing working on defensive spells. Today, Gowan and Gianna both worked together to show Kai and me what to do if the fighting got too intense later. You've both shown that you can handle yourselves among a large group of lesser demons, Gianna said, so that's good work. Kai, you've obviously got your wings to use for protection if it comes to that, so part of your job tonight will be making sure Linny never leaves your sight, not even for a minute. Kai nodded, and my face grew warm. I was grateful we would be together, whatever we would have to face. But the wings won't save you from everything, and they won't work forever, Gianna said. Wait, why not? I asked. I guess I still didn't know enough about how angels worked and what his abilities were. The way I used my wings earlier was a type of shielding, Kai said. It works just like any physical shield. It doesn't block every type of attack, and the power of the shield breaks down the more it's hit. Since I'm only half angel, I don't have the stamina or protection power of a full angel. Save that for an emergency, but let's hope it doesn't come to that, Gianna said. Instead, I want to teach you a few defensive moves. If there's time left, we'll work on more of your attacks. Over the next several hours, Gianna and Gowan both trained us in several types of defensive magic. We learned to manipulate air to create a temporary shield against fire spells. We also learned how to use a clump of dirt to harden a section of our skin, like a stone skin effect. When they were satisfied that we learned enough to protect ourselves, they moved into new attacks. I thought I already knew quite a bit of offensive magic, but there were a few tricks I hadn't seen before, like creating a small dagger of ice out of a single drop of holy water. Tonight, we would all be carrying a variety of reagents and potions, so Gowan went through them all, training us in how to use them. It was so much to remember, and I had a feeling this was just the tip of the iceberg. For all that I'd believed my parents had taught me, I knew nothing. Don't get discouraged, Gowan said, patting my arm. Most slayers spend a full year learning what you've learned in just 2 days. It isn't easy, I know, but you're doing a great job. You should be proud of yourself. I'll be proud if we're returning those girls to their families later tonight, I said. That's all that matters to me right now. I promise we'll do everything we can to make sure that's what happens, he said. Why don't you two take a break, and Gianna and I will talk about anything else we should go through before we head back to the house. Kai's eyes met mine, and he smiled. Walk with me? I moved up beside him, and we walked deeper into the woods, away from the car and the others. Where are we going? I asked. I want to show you something, he said. It won't take long. We walked in silence, and I wondered if we were both feeling the same way about tonight. Kai, what happened to your father? I asked. You really don't know at all? He sucked in a breath and shoved his hands into the pocket of his jeans. I haven't really talked about this to anyone, he said. I was sure he was here in Newcastle, but I didn't know why. I still don't know if his coming here was tied to Algrith, and no, I don't know what happened to him. But the fact that I haven't been able to connect to his energy scares the crap out of me. The not knowing would be really tough, I said. What about your mother, though? Where is she? Or is that too personal to ask? Kai nodded ahead, and I looked up to see a strange tree about 6 feet in front of us. It was a normal pine tree, but it had grown in such a way that about 3 feet off the ground, it shifted to one side and created a little seat before it headed back up toward the forest's canopy. How odd, I said. It's like a little tree chair. Isn't it cool? He asked, taking a seat. He patted the area next to him, and I sat down. There was just barely enough room for both of us to sit. It was more comfortable than I'd expected it to be. What would make a tree do this? I asked. A long time ago, the Native Americans would often bend trees to mark trails or other locations, he said. I'm guessing this tree was a way to mark the lake ahead. Wow, I said, leaning against him as he put an arm around me. I've never seen anything like it. When I was younger, my dad would sometimes come to visit Martin and train with him here in this area, Kai said. Mostly, Dad wanted to learn about human magic and how to fight the types of creatures and beings that slayers fought. I was too young to learn about it, so I would sometimes roam the woods. Once I found this tree, it became my little piece of the forest. I would always come back here to read and play. We sat together quietly, and I tried to imagine him as a small child playing around here in the forest alone. After what felt like a long time, he finally spoke again. My mother would sometimes come with us to the training grounds back then, he said, his voice filled with sadness. She was originally from Hawaii, and her coven there used a very different kind of magic than your coven, but she wanted to learn more. Sometimes, though, she would come back here with me to this tree and tell me stories or teach me her family's magic. It feels like a lifetime ago now. I slowly reached over and put my hand on top of his. It's easy to tell how much you love her, I said. I wanted very badly to ask him again where she was now, but his voice sounded so far away that I had a terrible feeling I already knew. She's actually the reason my father became friends with your parents, Kai said. They saved her from a demon much like Algrath. He had captured her and taken on her appearance. He'd planned to kill her when he was done with his work, but your parents found her first and saved her. The demon hadn't known it, but she was pregnant with me at the time. So really, they saved my life too. My heart started racing. Wow, I had no idea, I said. That's incredible. After that, my father felt he owed them his life, Kai said. He vowed to protect them always. That's part of what I don't understand, Lenny. Why wasn't he there when they died? His words hit hard. I certainly didn't have the answer to that, but I could hear the guilt in Kai's voice. I suddenly understood why he felt so strongly about protecting me. You feel like it's your job to keep me safe because he didn't follow through on his promise to protect my parents, I said. I couldn't explain why that was so disappointing to me. I was grateful he wanted to protect me, but I had hoped it was due to some connection he felt to me, not some debt he felt he owed my parents. Oh, Lenny, Lenny, Kai, we got to get moving, Gowan said, interrupting. There's no more time for training now. Martin and Asher have uncovered a huge lead. They want us home right away. The loss of the rest of that conversation was like a punch in the gut, but there would hopefully be time to discuss it later. Right now, saving the girls and finding Algrath were the most important things. Gowan talked the entire way home, and Kai just looked out the window. I wondered if I'd upset him by bringing up his parents. Man, that was really poor timing on my part. But then again, when was it ever a good time to talk about dead or missing parents? I hoped we would get another chance to finish our conversation, but when we got back to the house, we were immediately brought to Martin's study. Everyone had gathered there and was talking frantically about the plan for tonight. What's the breakthrough? I asked. Martin stood up from behind his desk and everyone grew quiet. It turns out your investigative skills are quite impressive, Lenora. The girls might actually be at the Julie Peterson cabin near the lake, after all, Martin said. My eyes widened. I could hardly believe it. It almost seemed too easy, too careless. What makes you think that? I asked. Asher located the cabin by digging through some county records. It was left to Julie Peterson by her father some years ago, Martin said. He made a quick trip out there this morning to check it out, and there are wards set up all around it. I glanced at Kai. More traps like the ones we'd walked into yesterday. From my research, there doesn't seem to be any magical blood in the Peterson family, so I highly doubt Julie or her father would have the knowledge or skill to place such wards themselves. This matches up with the trap on her house as well. At this, Darius stepped forward. Bates was a little more forthcoming this morning, as I expected, he said with a sly smile. It's my belief that his story about Julie Peterson was true. They did meet at that expo. She convinced him to help her sell more cupcakes. However, it's also my belief that Algrath kidnapped Miss Peterson first and took over her life because of her connection with Bates. As a trickster of sorts, I think it was his way of making fun of the council, showing his power in manipulating the brother of a keeper. Darius paced the floor in front of the desk. It's my suspicion that Bates is being set up to take the fall for all of this once the girls are dead, Darius said. Once I explained that to him, he was more than willing to rat out Julie Peterson. It turns out they'd spent some time together in that cabin over the past few months. Bates said there is a door inside that had been padlocked and warded with a strange type of magic. He said he could feel it from the moment he entered that cabin. Said it freaked him out, and he told her he didn't want to meet her out there anymore. I take it she didn't tell him what was locked inside, Gowan asked. Apparently, she said it was her dad's fishing stuff, Darius said, snorting. We all know that's a lie. So Olive's mom really was hiding something all this time. I hadn't wanted to believe it. As my tracking spell spreads through Algrath's body, his location becomes easier for me to pinpoint, Martin said. I can't see his exact location yet, but all signs point to the same area, that cabin in the woods. There's something else, Asher said. When I was walking around the property, I saw a clearing about 60 feet behind the main house. I couldn't get close enough to be sure without tripping one of the wards, but I'm fairly certain it was a ritual circle. I took several deep breaths. Could we be right? Had we really put all of this together so fast? We knew who Algrath was. We knew where the girls were being held and where the ritual would take place. Now all we had to do was put a stop to it and get the girls out of there before Algrath could even get them to the circle. We spent the next 2 hours going over our strategy for the raid. Everyone in the room knew Algrath was a trickster. There had been slayers in the past who thought they knew exactly where he was and what he was doing, only to storm in and find him already gone, or standing behind them. Several slayers had died at his hands. Tonight, we needed to be smarter than he was, which meant we couldn't assume we knew anything until it was confirmed with our eyes. In the end, the plan we settled on was risky, but smart. We would surround the cabin with wards and shields of our own, designed to keep Algrath in if he tried to run. That wouldn't help us against any portals, but it would at least give us some boundaries within the woods. We couldn't put the boundaries too close, though, or Algrath might sense them too early. We settled on 1/2 mile on all sides, and Martin seemed pleased with that number. Then we would wait for Martin's tracking spell to zero in on our target, confirming once and for all that Algrath was inside that house. Once confirmed, we would rush in, locate the girls, and get them to safety. That was where Kai and I came in. Our job was to get the girls into the car and bring them back to Martin's house until Algrath was either contained or banished. Then everyone would join us back at the house, care for any of the injuries the girls may have suffered, wipe their memories of the events since their kidnappings, and return them to their families anonymously during the night. No one could ever know who had saved them, but that wouldn't matter. As long as they were alive and safe, that was truly all that mattered to any of us. After hours of prepping and talking through strategy, it was finally time to go. I ran up to my room to grab my backpack, and I took my time carefully packing it up with everything Gowan and Gianna had said I might need. Holy water, my father's dagger, a large bottle of blessed salt. I checked off more than 15 different reagents as I loaded them into my bag. The inside of the backpack was arranged with small straps so that I could carry lots of different vials in a somewhat organized manner. I just worried that when the time came, I wouldn't be able to locate and use everything as quickly as I wanted. Gianna assured me that once I graduated to my second key, I would be able to cast more magic without the use of incantations and reagents. But she also said that about 100 more ingredients would open up to me. A witch's key was more than just a key to a cabinet. It was a key to new magic and new abilities. You'll be on your second key before you know it if you keep that up, Gowan said to me this morning during training. I had then asked him what level key he was on, and he'd simply given me a wink and tucked his key inside his white shirt, but not before I had a chance to see the ruby stone embedded in its center. Now, as I packed up my bag, I grasped my own key and locket tightly in my hand. My witch's key had no fancy stone or inscription. It was just a simple silver key, and tonight, that would have to be enough. I knelt before my spell cabinet for a few minutes and closed my eyes. I sent up a prayer to whoever might be listening up there. It was a prayer I'd heard my parents say to each other many times before they had gone into battle. May my magic be quick and strong. May my aim always be true. May the light be always on my side, so that tonight I may return home safely to you. I took several deep breaths before I could convince my legs to lift me up and carry me down the stairs to where the others were waiting. The entire ride out to the cabin, I clung tightly to Kai's hand but didn't say a word. My heart had not beat so fast or so hard since the night my parents died. Please don't let tonight be like that night. When we got to the cabin, the sun had disappeared behind the trees, and the air had cooled off some from the heat of the day. Everyone jumped into action following our plan. Everything was going exactly as we'd expected, but that didn't bring me any comfort. I knew from experience that things could go wrong in an instant. We huddled around Martin as he prepared his tracking spell again. He had to prick his own fingertip with a blade each time, but he didn't seem to mind. He let a single drop of his blood fall onto a map he'd created of the area, and we all waited, holding our breath as we watched the blood slowly make a trail to our location, circling the mile or so radius around the cabin. So, this was it. Algrath was here. The girls had to be inside that cabin. We were going to save them. We just had to keep our heads on straight and our magic strong, and we could do this. But just like I'd feared, something did go wrong. It was still half an hour until we intended to storm the cabin, but Algrath had apparently decided to start early because inside, someone screamed. "Peyton," I said, standing. "That's her. He's hurting her." "Lenny, wait," Kai said. But it was too late. I was already on my feet and running toward the cabin. Dun, 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 silence. George's response to that when he read it was, "Somebody needs to put that girl on a leash." Okay, everybody take a deep breath. I warned you yesterday that we would be getting into the third act, the last part. This is in the story structure. This is storm the castle. You always hear that storm the castle moment. She is literally storming the castle as we leave. So here we go. It is time. So we've got a battle coming up, and will they be right? Will there be a trick? Who knows what's going to happen? I know. That's so cruel. That's so cruel. And the truth is, I don't always know because it's not completely written. I often get surprised by things too. So you never know. Things could happen. No stupid heroic act ruins everything. Um, how much can you fall for it just after being told yesterday they would do this? Um, she's going to get hurt. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah, so it's so funny to think about how far this has come into a huge book, more so than I expected it to. I thought it was going to be a short novella, and here we are, a full novel. So we've got 2 episodes left, and like I said, we're going to obviously have tomorrow will be about the same, maybe a little bit, it probably will be a little bit longer than today yet again. And then of course Saturday's episode will be quite long. I anticipate that it will be. A couple of different things that are of interest. One, I had this idea for the tree, which might come into play again later, in the series if I bring it back. But I had a tree like this in the woods. I grew up in a log cabin in the woods. My dad built this log cabin when I was in first and second grade. It took almost 2 years. So every weekend, my parents would take us out to the woods where they had all these tractors and stuff come pull a bunch of trees down to create a clearing in the middle of the woods. And my dad pretty much built that entire thing himself. He poured the foundation, he got the logs, he pulled them up with an old tractor that he bought. We mixed our own chinking. Like we did all of that kind of stuff. To create this house. But I was 7 and 8 years old. My sister was about 12 or 13. And then my brother was only like 3 years old. And so we were like kind of babysitting each other, and we would spend a lot of time playing in the woods while our parents were doing more dangerous things like dealing with logs or like building foundations and stuff like that. So we found this tree like that. And it was like, sometimes when you see these trees that they, there's been a lot of research about how Native Americans did this pretty much all over the country from what I've read, where they would bend trees. So they would use different strings and things like that to bend trees to where they would like point in a certain direction or, show you different trail markers. And so we had a tree like this. We didn't know that that's what it was, but it was like a tree that went up and then kind of created this little seat and then went back up, except ours was a little bit more bowed than you'll see pictures online where they're really straight. This one was kind of bowed. And we would be able to sit there. So my sister and I would often sit there and we would play games together and we would just play around that tree, and we considered it our tree. And that tree sadly is no longer standing because various reasons and storms and things like that. But I always wanted to write a tree like that into my series and make it be something that is beautiful, because I loved that tree with my sister, and it was just a place where we connected. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to imagine a young angel Kai spending time with his mother in the woods like that. So just an interesting story about the tree. Now, an interesting story about the challenge. George came into the bathroom while I was getting ready, and he goes, why don't we do a Bellus challenge? So Bellus is what she says. It's just Bellus. And he was like, how fun would it be to post like a picture of what your hair looks like in the morning when you first get up, and then also what it looks like once it's had its magic done to it. So if you are interested in this, I think it would be fun to do a hashtag Bellus challenge. Let me see if I can, my keyboard's like all the way over here. See if I can get it over here. Like this, hashtag Bellus challenge. And I'll post this in the group and on social media too. If any of you would be willing to do it, maybe you're not going to be willing to show your hair looking crazy, but when I get up, I definitely have hair like looking crazy. Sometimes I even wear it in a braid. So then when I pull it down, it's like, I don't know, it's just all over the place. So it might be kind of fun to do a challenge of like, this is what my hair looks like when it first get up. And then if I was a witch, this is how beautiful it would look in an instant. if you guys think that's fun, then post #BellishChallenge to Instagram. If you tag me also, my challenge or my name on Instagram is just @SarahCannon, and you can tag me or whatever. We might even do some extra bonus giveaways for anyone who posts on Facebook or Instagram with that hashtag. I woke up like this. See, Mikkel, Jen, you guys are like, oh, this is what I always look like. So either that means that you guys never brush your hair, or it means that you just wake up perfect. So if you wake up perfect, which I'm just going to assume that's the way it is, maybe tease your hair or put it into a ponytail and then put it down and see what it looks like. Jen, yours probably won't go into a ponytail. When you have shorter hair, it might not be. But it's just for fun. If you think it's fun to do it, or get your daughter to do it, or whatever. Too many curls to brush your hair. Yeah, that's true, Beth. But you probably do something with it. I don't know. I've never had curly hair. I've always wanted curly hair. But if you would like to, you can post a #BellishChallenge. I will do one tomorrow because I think that'll be kind of fun. And on the day of the finale, we're going to let's just use the hashtag TWK finale. That sound good? So we'll do the Witch's Key finale, TWK finale. And that'll be for all of your posts for the cupcakes. You can also use the hashtag #MoonDustCupcakes for any pictures of the cupcakes. So those are going to be the 3 hashtags that we use to post pictures. Also, you can tag me. And if I see it, I will share it on my stories on Instagram, or you can come post them I'll put some threads up on Saturday morning for you to post any pictures that we can see on Facebook. So just kind of something fun. So Carol, you did not miss the cupcake recipe. Pamela is working on them, and she is going to send them to us tomorrow. She said she's going to make them and also take pictures and give step-by-step instructions. Maybe a little bit like late in the game to have them ready by Saturday, but we'll just keep the cupcake posts and everything going for all next week. So even if you don't have a chance to make your cupcakes by Saturday because you don't have time to go shopping for the ingredients or do what you need to do, we'll keep the posts and the giveaways going all next week as well. I will have some giveaways for fun on, yes, you can post the pics to the coven as well. I'm going to create a thread, but you can also, you can put them in the comments of the thread that I create, or you can put them on the wall. Either way, whatever you want to do, share them with us. I will do some giveaways during the live on Saturday just for fun, but then I'm also going to do some giveaways throughout next week for people that have posted on social media. There's the baby.
She's fussy, but you got to show off her jeans a little bit.
Oh, she got a little bug going. Get a little baby bugs. She's got little baby jeans on today. You say hi, everybody. Can you put your little feet up there? Yeah. Looking stylish. Evie does not need the Bellish challenge. She wakes up like this. Her hair is perfection. Do you have any hair? Say, I ain't got no hair. I do not have hair. Yeah, she was sleeping yesterday, but she made it today. She's got her little teeth poking through on the bottom, so she's been super fussy. But she's hanging in there. Oh, there was a smile. You just like being on camera, right? Yeah, we can do a Bellish challenge with a bow. One is just no hair, and then we got a bow. Or we find you a little baby wig. Not really. Well, so hopefully you guys are enjoying the story. Hopefully you're having fun. Only 2 episodes left. I have no idea, like I said, how much time I'm going to take off between, but I'm going to continue to go live. So hopefully you guys will still join me for whatever I keep reading in between. I think it's going to be Loxley. She's going to grab everything. You want to say goodbye to everybody? Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Yeah. You going to leave us a little tickle? A little tickle? Oh, I love this baby. Look at that sweet cheeks. You're so sweet. Mommy loves you. You guys, she's always got my hair with her. She's such a sweet girl, but she has the biggest cheeks for always. But she's always trying to grab every little thing. But it's going to be super fun. I'm excited about this. I saw someone ask, I think it was Nicole at the beginning, like, how are you feeling? With it almost being over. And I just feel exhilarated because I love getting to the ends of stories. I also always get nervous. Like, I'm always nervous even when I don't have people already guessing twists in the comments. I'm always nervous of like, are people going to be surprised or will they have already guessed it? And I never actually have people actively guessing in the chat. So I'm a little bit nervous about that on Saturday. So I think I'm going to try to not pay attention to the chat so that I don't get disappointed if people really guess it. Also, just as like a pre-warning, that if you think you're going to be disappointed if someone else guesses it first and you just want the experience, then you can always turn your chat off during the reading and then turn it back on. You should have an option there to turn the chat off if you just don't want to see. Just in case. So, because I guarantee somebody here is going to get it before it's fully revealed. So, somebody will probably say it because, and so if you feel like, especially with the couple of biggest twists that are coming, one big twist is coming tomorrow, and then there's, potentially more after that. We will see. I like doing lots of little twists, so we'll see. But if you think it's going to disappoint you if someone else blurts it out in chat, then just turn your chat off. We're not going to moderate those kinds of things because I just think it's fun for some people to guess. And so I want to keep that ability to guess and have community, but just also as a quick reminder, and I'll remind again on Saturday too. So how do you write so fast? The thing about writing is really weird for me. It's like I can actually write really fast when I know the story or when I'm inspired for the story. But when it comes to books, especially first books in a series, I feel like almost always write quickly because you're just getting to know these characters and all that. But when you get like 10 plus books into a world, or you're writing something like Fate's Surrender, where there's 8-9 points of view and there's a lot of different magic and stuff, it gets a lot more difficult. So, I can physically type really fast. And that's one thing that I did really like a gift I gave myself a long time ago in high school was I decided not to take chorus, even though I was a singer, because I wanted to learn what they called keyboarding back in the day. That'll tell you how old I am. I learned on an actual typewriter and not a computer. And learning how to type really fast helps because my fingers can keep up with my brain. So I can write that fast. But when I get deeper into a book, it always gets a little bit harder until I know the story. So I could spend 6 months trying to figure out the plot of a story, and then I can write it really fast. But if I hit a block where I can't figure out what happens next in the story, because the twists are my favorite thing, but if I can't find the twist in my head, I can't figure it out, I can get stuck for months, if not a year. It also, my writing tends to be very tied to my emotions. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's old, but I mean, I guess if you're sitting here like, who uses a typewriter anymore, you would think that it was old. But yeah, I was in high school in the 90s, so it's not that old. But I think that my writing is very tied to my emotions. So if I'm having a hard time, or I'm super distracted, or I'm feeling really low, it can be very difficult for me to get to a place of writing and getting into that character. And fear probably plays a role in it too. So being afraid that I'm not going to be able to pull off a twist, or being afraid that the writing isn't going to come. But this story has been almost writing itself. And part of it is that I'm writing it as I go. I've got a deadline. So it's that accountability you guys are holding me to. Plus, I'm not super worried about like a little bit of writing lazy in a way. Like some things that I'm doing are not the most like literary way to write it. So, it may not be like the most beautiful prose or the exact word choice. And that's giving me kind of freedom to just tell the story and not worry about every single little word and if it's perfect. And sometimes as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, I've got double words there. I've got this or this going wrong. But the excitement is that I can change it in the edits. So I will have this book up for pre-order, and it will be coming out in May, but that will give me a little bit of time to really fix some of that lazy writing, fix some of the story things. Like I said, I'm actually going to change the very beginning of the book a little bit. And there will just be some changes that will happen as I edit it. And then it will go to beta readers. I will edit again, and then it will go to a professional editor, and I will edit it one last time, and then it will be out in May. So I'll decide on that, get the blurb written, and it will be up on pre-order for you guys. For anyone who wants to purchase it on Saturday, it will be up for pre-order. So that has been part of the writing fast for this particular book, because truthfully, it's like been over a year and a half, and I've barely written anything except half of I've gotten a little more than 65,000 words in Fate Surrender, and I've written about 25,000 words in the haunting or the disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. And then here comes this 64,000 words in less than a month. So it's pretty crazy. Kelly, dang, all that happens so fast. So that's my editing process, because I am not very patient with things. And I also have beta readers that are super amazing who read stuff very quickly for me. So if I hand it to them, some people will give their beta readers a whole month to look over stuff. I am always like down to the deadline. So my beta readers that have been beta reading for me for years, they kind of know to just read it as quickly as possible. And they give me feedback pretty as much as possible. They're pretty much the best beta readers anyone could ever want. And I also have editors that pretty much will just drop things and take things on. So it's just taking me time to find those people. So a lot, I mean, if you are a writer, don't judge your speed based on anybody else's speed. Some people, it will take them, after a rough draft, it might take them 6 months to get the book ready. But edits tend to go really fast for me. And that's just my way. So I will continue on as I do. So I can't do a pre-order for paperback, but it will go up on paperback when the ebook comes out. So it should be pretty soon, around the same time as the paperback, but I can't put it on pre-order. So will our start time be 4 for tomorrow and Saturday for the finale? Yep. It's been every single day at 4 always. And that's been working, I think, because we talked about it. If I go any later than 4, a lot of people in Europe will not be able to go. And if I go much earlier, then there's going to be a lot of people who have other things going on during the day. So yeah, she's out there. You can hear her. So yeah, it's 4 p.m., 2 more days. And then on Sunday, I probably will have a vlog, but I'm actually not going to promise a vlog this Sunday, because after all this extra writing, we got baby feet. After all this extra writing, I may not have time for much of a vlog on Sunday. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens for Sunday. I might end up taking a break. I will let you know. There's a baby face. She likes that. It made her smile. So yeah, that's it. 4 p.m. tomorrow for episode 20. And then there will be just one more left. So yeah, I am paying attention to my own limitations as well, which is important for me to do. So we'll just see how it goes. I have a feeling I'm going to be writing late into the night the next couple of nights to finish everything. So there just may not be a vlog on Sunday, and it'll be fine. But I will still go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week, and we'll just move, instead of daily, it'll become a 3-day-a-week thing, and we'll see how that goes. And we're just going to play it by ear. But thank you guys for being a part of this. We thought it was going to be 2 weeks. It's been a month, and you guys are still here, and I sincerely appreciate it. This has been super fun. So more news tomorrow as I begin to whittle down the choices and the decisions that we have to make. And I think another thing I'm trying to decide for season 2 is, like, do I just call it The Witch's Key season 2? That's kind of what I did with Sacrifice Me. There's just Sacrifice Me 1 and Sacrifice Me season 2. So I might just keep it The Witch's Key. I don't know. There's a lot of little decisions that are up in the air. So we'll see as we go. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me again for 50 minutes. I talk too much. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Plan to be here for sure on Saturday for at least an hour or an hour and a half. If you were able to make any of that, that would be great. And I will see y'all tomorrow at 4 as well for episode 20. All right. Good afternoon. Love you guys. Bye.